What's going on, fellas? Welcome back to the channel. So this week, week two in NFL was actually quite interesting. I would definitely want to talk about and touch up on some things. Something I kept asking myself for a few years now, it's not even now, is the NFL failing young quarterbacks? Because more and more, we don't have Hall of Fame quarterbacks on these teams where these young people are being drafted to. Like, I'm going to use Bryce Young as an example here because he recently got benched this week, during the game. Now he has not played well. Let's not beat around the bush. He hasn't played well, but the team is not that good either. The Carolina Panthers are not that good. I don't think they're coaching him up properly. I definitely don't think Andy Dalton is the ultimate answer, but time will tell. If they start winning games, maybe something else is the problem. It's not just Bryce Young, it's not just the team. Maybe there's something else we're not paying attention to. But hopefully Andy Dalton will prove the point that everybody is thinking. Maybe the Carolina Panthers themselves are the problem, from an ownership problem to the team just not putting the right pieces around him. I mean, if we want to sit there and compare what Bryce Young had at Alabama versus what he's doing now, to be fair, what Bryce Young had at Alabama was straight 5 stars across the board. Some of the best receivers in college football in his time. And then on top of that, the defenses he were playing were not that great. He played a lot of 3-star defenses and things of that nature. This is the NFL. This is a little different. What your star rating was in college really no longer matters. This is the best of the best. This is the 1% of the 1% that make it. So the way he's playing definitely has to change. It cannot be the same game type. And that in itself is also a big problem. And that's something that the Carolina Panthers should definitely look at. So is the NFL actually failing these black quarterbacks by bringing them in and trying to throw them into the fire up front? I'm starting to think yes, because I'm starting to think the rookie contracts changed everything. Usually they would come out of college, they would already have a big contract, they know what's going on and everything. But now owners want to know, if can you play? And I'm starting to think that's a really big problem because some of them, yes, they may shine in college, but they're not ready to play big boy football at the NFL level. Everybody is good. The mistakes you could get away with in college because you had better receivers or a better O line are quite, apparent in the NFL when skill levels are balanced out. So that's something that the NFL really should look at again. And where you get drafted matters. I think we're proving that more and more as time goes. Um, Being able to sit behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, learning the game, seeing it from a different position definitely helps these guys out tremendously. And we can no longer deny that because a lot of these quarterbacks out of college are failing. And I'm starting to think it's not them that's failing. It may be the teams that are not prepared for that quarterback. It may be the coaching is not good enough for that player. Because we've seen Baker Mayfield and the fifth try seemed to be the perfect match. And we can't explain that, but that's what's happening. So we'll get back to Bryce Young though when we review that game. So Jim Harbaugh, being Jim Harbaugh, are we really shocked that the Chargers are good? I mean, Jim Harbaugh came in. I'm not shocked. I'm pretty sure most people shouldn't be shocked. But he established a run game with the Chargers. He actually has a Buckeye who's doing most of the running in J.K. Dobbins. The Ravens, I'm pretty sure, are harping at themselves right now because they shouldn't have let J.K. Dobbins go at all. Justin Herbert is no longer having to throw 50 times in a game, and they're better off for it. Everything is balanced. The run game still matters even in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh's proving that once again. We've gone so many years of devaluing running backs. Jim Harbaugh doesn't think so. And the NFL needs to pay attention. This Chargers team, they are good. I can't wait to see what they actually do in the season. Now, when it comes to Tua, let's jump over to the Miami Dolphins because we're going to cover a lot of teams here today. So when it comes to Tua, no, he shouldn't retire. I don't think he should retire. I don't think he's done. He's still young. He definitely has his life ahead of him. But there's a but to that. I think he needs to fully recover before he's back on the field. He needs to be out for about 2 months. Like, just getting cleared from concussion protocol is not enough. You need to be out for 2 months, let your brain heal, let everything work out. And then on top of that, you need to change that helmet that you're wearing. Go to a Zenith helmet or something like that. They tend to protect the head a lot better. and learn how to slide feet first. You're a quarterback. You're too valuable to your team to keep going down in these concussions. So, we wish the best for Tua. I hope he comes back and he's ready to play, but definitely change that football helmet and recover 100%. Your brain health needs to go back to 100% before you get back on that field. The more of these concussions that you're getting, the worse it's going to get, and the much longer you're going to be sitting out over time. So let that bad boy heal, man. The Browns and the Jags. Well, I have to say it actually. The Browns actually look like they got their quarterback back. Last week uh, we do know that he lost his father, and that was very tough on him. Mentally, I'm not exactly sure if he was at the game, but he did his best. It wasn't the best day for the Browns. But against the Jags, they actually look like they got their quarterback fully back. The Jags, I think what I harp on them for is they always find a way to lose a game. They never know how to close out a game, and I think that's where their downfall is. They have to get back to figuring out how to finish games, and that's their big problem. They're always competitive, but the AFC South right now, the only team with wins is the Texans. They definitely are the best team in the AFC South right now. So the Jags got a lot of work to do if they definitely want to make this playoffs, because this is not going to be easy at all. And usually you don't want to lose to the same team twice, but now that it's 17 games, and when I say the same team twice, I mean the same team in your division twice. But now that it's 17 games, there's a lot of random things that kind of get thrown in there, and changes up the system a little bit. Moving over to the Jets, I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers is the answer anymore. I don't know if it's more of a fear of him getting injured with his foot or something else happening. He just doesn't look the same. He doesn't look the same throwing the ball. It almost looks like this is, the same as his last few years in Green Bay, where he just doesn't trust the receivers quite yet, And I'm not exactly sure what has to be done to fix that issue, because he really has some weapons when you really sit back and pay attention, especially weapons in people like Garrett Wilson. He has weapons around him. He just has to use them, and it will be interesting to see what he ultimately does with this season. But I think the Jets, no matter what, will be looking for a quarterback in this next draft, and they might be able to find one. And actually, hopefully, from what I said earlier, he can learn from Aaron Rodgers and be better for it in a year or two. And I'm perfectly okay with that. So, how about the Buccaneers? I mentioned Baker Mayfield earlier. He's killing it over there, man. The fifth try has been the best try for him so far. And I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but he looks like a franchise quarterback right now. Can he keep this up? Can he stay healthy and stay away from injury? I'm actually excited to see what the season looks like for Baker Mayfield. I don't have much more to say. The Cardinals, oh man. I think they finally remembered in game 2 that, we drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they finally remembered. And now that they're actually started using him, they put up 41 points in a game. Is anyone shocked? I mean, covering Marvin Harrison Jr. out there has to be a nightmare. If you put the ball in the right place, he's most likely going to catch it. So, the Cardinals, just don't forget what you drafted, man. You already have it on your team, and you can take advantage of that in games. But just don't forget. That's the only message I got for the Cardinals. The Bengals and the Chiefs. Whew, man. The Bengals found a way to lose that game. Just like in the Patriots game, though, they definitely found a way to lose that game as well. But especially with Jamar Chase getting the unsportsmanlike conduct flag towards the end of the game that cost him 15 yards, takes some momentum away, takes them out of field goal range. They just need to find ways to win again. I don't know what the answer is, but right now there's something going on in the team we don't know. They're just not getting along or something of that nature, but something has to happen and something has to change. The Chiefs, they'll be okay. I'm not worried about the Chiefs. I can't wait to see them play Houston. That will be an interesting game because you're going to have talent all over the field, both on offense and defense for both teams, and it will be interesting to see who comes out on top. So I can't wait for that game. The Patriots, now this is my team. they're playing above their level right now. Because in all honesty, coming out in this year, I said that they were the worst team in the AFC East, arguably probably the worst team in the NFL. But they're punching above their weight class. I love the way that they're playing, even with that loss to the Seahawks. They look great. But when you take the ball first in overtime, man, you gotta be able to close out that game, and that's where you miss Tom Brady, of course. But minimum, put the ball within field goal range to give yourself a chance, because if you don't score in that first drive, then the other team only needs a field goal to end the game. So at least there has to be a game plan in that. And I'm sure there was. It's just the execution wasn't there for that to be an opportunity. How about the Steelers? Man, the Bears are not happy that they let Fields go, huh? Because Justin Fields is kind of killing it over there right now. And I know the Steelers are not looking too pretty. They're not looking flashy or anything like that. It's not perfect. They don't look like the Saints, that's for sure. But Justin Fields was a big bonus to the Bears. He is playing very well. Their defense is holding up. TJ Watt is a dog on that D line. I think he might be my favorite defensive end in all of NFL right now, outside of Aiden Hutchinson. Them boys can play. It is what it is. They can play. The Ravens, once again, man, they come up short just in the end. But they have something going on. Like, they have to place Lamar Jackson either better positions to win, or in positions where he's not the only person that can win the game for them. Because it almost seems like they just kind of sit back and go, oh, we have Lamar Jackson, we're fine. He will find a way to win. You still have to put him in better positions to win, and that's the only thing I can say about the Ravens. They're a great team. They just, I don't know. Maybe coaching is falling apart a little bit, and maybe they're depending too much on the players to kind of figure it out on the field. But that's going to be interesting to see. It cannot be all on Lamar Jackson, though. You have to put him in positions to be successful. The Bears and the Texans. Oh, man. We were all excited to see Caleb Williams play. I kind of wanted to see how he would be if he would let all the college stuff go, which is very difficult, because the things that these good quarterbacks get away with in college, it sticks to your mind, and you're like, hey, if I can do it there, I can do it here. No, it's just not the same thing, man. The Texans offense did show up in the first half. They definitely fell asleep in the second half, though. They just weren't there. The Bears, showed that they were able to stay in the game. Caleb Williams, I just said it. He has to remember he's not in college anymore. Those guys on the defensive side of the ball are getting paid too. And that interception that he threw on the sideline was into triple coverage. Far too risky. In college, though, he probably got away with it multiple times. That's probably why he would have thrown that. He probably imagined it in the moment. But in the NFL, that's not going to happen. When Stroud was running on the sideline as he was about to get sacked and completed that ball to Nico Collins on the sideline, he placed the ball only in a place where Nico could catch it, and it was single coverage. I haven't seen him make a mistake of throwing the ball in triple coverage and it getting picked off, but I could be wrong on that. So what I have to say to Bears fans is, give Caleb Williams some time, man. He needs to adjust to the game, and he needs to keep playing. He needs to keep learning. He does not have a Hall of Fame quarterback to learn from right now. So, it's coaching that's going to get him there, and just his experience on the field, that's what's going to get him to the next hump. But the Bears definitely do need some work on that O-line, because, you see Caleb Williams running for his life quite often, just like Justin Fields. But the Texans defense, man, they're well coached. They're tough to beat. They cover their responsibilities. They do make mistakes here and there, but it's very few and far between. They're human still. You're going to get tired and you're going to make mistakes. That is what it is. We're not going to harp on that for too long. But I wonder what will happen to this Texans team over the next 4 years, because, man, you can't pay everybody, man. They got talent all over the field. So you're going to have to definitely lose some players simply because of the CBA, and you can't pay everyone. Man, that's going to suck to kind of see. But that team is definitely turning into a super team slowly and surely. And then during that game, we seen the hip drop tackle happen. We witnessed it and everything. Some of the players even learned from wrestlers. different techniques on how to tackle someone, how to use your body for leverage. If the NFL takes away the hip drop tackle, it might as well be a flag football league, because naturally you're going to want to just bring someone down. And one of the easiest ways is to take them, twist your body, and fall towards the ground so they can follow you. And by definition in the NFL, that's a hip drop tackle. But, with all the with all the rolled up ankles, knee injuries, and stuff like that it causes, I get their argument. But how are defenders supposed to tackle? Like, are there new tackle techniques they have to learn that are approved by the NFL so we can prevent some of these injuries, or what exactly? I mean, they're going to have to give us an answer for something, because just taking away rules for the defense and making this an offensive game is making the game worse and worse for defensive-minded people, and especially defensive players who have to go out there and do it. They're just going to get flagged left and right. And they have contracts and goals to meet as well. So what are they supposed to do? Just forget everything that they know and learn something completely new? Or is it just going to be tag football or flag football, for that matter of fact? But I won't make this too much longer, fellas. Definitely thank you guys for listening to this quick rundown for NFL Week 2. Like and subscribe. Come back for more, guys. Peace out, y'all.